Hi, everybody. Welcome to Starting 11 for Match Week 8. I'm Snark. Adelia, the usual co-host, couldn't make it today. Either A, because she is far too upset over something that may have happened over Match Week 8, or B, and more probably, has a family function to do. So, lucky for us, next man up, Fares Muthana. Fares, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Rob. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing just fine. Plenty to get to.
I'll bring Adelia's anger to this because I'm pretty sure.
I would imagine you would,
Yes.
as you guys support the same club. Let's we'll do a couple other matches before we get into something that's really going to irk you. Just trying to not make this thing go too long today, but there's things to talk about.
Yep.
Starting off the week at the vaunted Tottenham Hotspurs Stadium.
Yep.
There's no NFL this week for them.
No.
Instead, they get a derby match that does anyone really care about this derby? No.
No, man. The only London derbies that people really care about are Chelsea, Arsenal, and Tottenham Arsenal. That's it. I'm sorry. That's the only ones they care about, really.
Well, there's a few. Chelsea.
No, there isn't.
Chelsea and the Fulham's always a fun one.
You don't even care about that one, Rob. So
there's only one team in Fulham. There's only one team in Fulham. Bears.
Yeah, but you don't even. You've told me I don't even care about this one. Like you've literally.
It's not a competition. It's not a competition. For it to be a rivalry, it can't be so incredibly lopsided. Anyway,
I think you're proving my point, Rob. You're literally just.
I was trying to build up something with Fulham, but what's there?
There's nothing, Rob.
You can't say anything. I think it's cute. I think it's cute when Fulham wins. Okay.
Yeah, they have a cool name for their stadium. It sounds like a Harry Potter village. You know what I mean? But come on, Craven Cottage.
So yeah, back to the match here. Darn it, Fares. 4-1 Spurs. They really didn't have much trouble. I think Mo Kudus gets the first goal for West Ham.
Mm-hmm.
After that, it's just.
Yo, can we talk about how bad West Ham is?
You think they're pretty happy that they sacked Moyes and bring in Julian Lopetegui?
They thought they did, but look with them, man.
Well, and he was saying it last year. It's like, people can complain they're boring, but they win.
Yeah,
they actually won a trophy.
Yes.
Probably. Yeah, it might be. If a certain team wins it this year, maybe the most important European trophy there is. But other than that, no one could ever get two shits about it.
Why'd you guys lose to Panathinaikos?
Yeah, I was gonna say we're gonna go to Greece tomorrow and get greased. Anyways, just like England did. Oh my god. So So anyways, a bit of a fluke goal. Goes into, I guess that one ends up as the winner or whatever. That one that goes in off of off the Areola, then off the Jean-Claire Todibo, and then that weird kind of spin, then over the line and stuff like that. Anyways, do I want to spend too much talking about how Spurs win 4-1 over West Ham? Nice that West Ham loses. I'm gonna say that. I have no problem with that. But at the expense of having Spurs win, not a huge. I'm not going to jump up and down about it. That's for sure.
Yeah, against West Ham means nothing nowadays because look, see, you got what you asked for, West Ham fans. You wanted a
forward-thinking club.
And allegedly wanted a manager who's a more offensive and more whatever, and this is what you got.
Yep.
You're trying to be something you're not. Because it's just not whatever this is.
Instead of building off defense, they're trying to find offense, and they're just not that kind of club.
Yeah. Okay. And they're trying to get a Basque manager, and they think, oh man, three clubs in the Premier League have Basque managers, and they're good. Let's try a Basque manager. Yeah. And you know what? The four. So. Yeah. I've never understood the hype around Julian Lopetegui. I think I missed something about him. I I've like he's a manager I have never kept track of because I've never cared about
Well,
the game.
I think he did an okay job with Wolves, right? Like, who were
Yeah,
Wolves
yeah,
before then? But then,
yeah.
yeah, I don't really like to go from Wolverhampton to West Ham is a
Hmm.
leap. You know what I mean? Maybe he's just not ready for that kind of leap. That's a lot of pressure for a guy.
Yeah, he was
Even
at
though West Ham sucks forever and I hate them.
yeah, he was at Sevilla. Um, he won Europa League with Sevilla,
Yep.
but then
But
that's
that's
it.
Sevilla. That's Sevilla's
That's Sevilla.
that's Sevilla's spot.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Sevilla like owns the Europa League
Yeah.
for some odd reason.
Yeah. They're like the 64th best team.
Yeah.
Maybe they're a little higher. All right. Go on. Two more teams I hate. Good, Ferris. Look how this worked out.
Yeah.
Get all the hatred out. Not all of it. Fulham losing at the aforementioned Craven Cottage, Ferris. 3-1 to Villa. And again, they're the ones that go up first. And that was a real nice pass by Bernd Leno up to Jimenez. And Pau Torres has to be stronger than he was. He just gets muscled out the ball by Jimenez of all people. Nice low shot to beat Martinez. And it could have gone up hot more. Matty Cash with that handball. But again, that handball, his arm's out like this. But the ball deflects from a foot away. It's called VAR calls it no, that's a penalty. You know, it's not like I want to go back to the FA Cup semifinal last year. A certain Jack Grealish going like this at the ball, and that's not a penalty, and that was from a free kick. So consistency. Oh, the consistency, Ferris.
Because because when you're running or maneuvering, your hands are like off from your side.
Yeah.
So there has to be some leeway of
they said this
hands
was
away
unnatural.
from the body.
Unnatural.
Yeah,
But it wasn't moving. Anyways, from when it's that close, I don't know what you're supposed to do. Anyways, we've seen a lot worse get awarded, and a lot worse not get awarded and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
You never know with these guys. But soccer gods were with the Villa this day because what an awful penalty by Pereira. Andreas Pereira. Terrible. Martinez makes it there easily. And from then, Villa just takes over. What are you going to do? Score 3. Ollie Watkins gets one. The winner goes off a Issa Diop and stuff like that, which is, poor way to lose with an own goal.
Yeah.
But what, they deserved it. They were down. This is what we should have brought up before. 64th minute. Joachim Anderson given a straight red for a last man call on Ollie Watkins. They're about 6 yards from the box when this happens.
Yes.
Ollie Watkins does have body position, has control of the ball. He gets clearly taken down by Anderson. That's a straight red and a penalty. There's no problems with this. That's how this thing should be awarded. True or false, Ferris? That's
true.
Looks like,
that is a last man penalty. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it was a clear and obvious scoring chance taken.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. Let's put a pin on that.
We
will put a pin on that. Eventually, like I said, Villa wins 3-1. They're a
problem.
They go down to 10 men. They go down to 10. Yeah, they're back up to 4th. The last 5 minutes at the end of the game. Who was it that Jaden Filoni gets two yellows to even it up, but by then it was all over.
Game's over.
It was all over, but the crying for Fulham. Okay, yeah, we're gonna put a pin on that last man. Move on. Newcastle and Brighton. You never know what you're gonna get out of Newcastle.
Literally, you don't.
Yeah, it is a toss-up every time. They're a Jekyll and Hyde club. They finally get Alexander Isak back from those broken toes. I know how that feels. I've broken every single one of my toes at least once. Ferris, there's a quick fact for you. How about that? Doctor once called me an effing klutz to my face. Anyways, Isak comes back means nothing. Brighton go over to St. James Park. Danny Welbeck gets his 5th goal of the season.
He's on
Paris.
fire, man.
Unbelievable. What
He's
a
on
return.
fire.
What a return from this guy. Nearly as old as me.
Yeah.
Nearly.
But you guys are still younger than Ashley Young.
Like 13 years, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And anyways, Brighton goes back to the South Coast with 3 points. Totally against the run of play. Newcastle should have won this game. Very interesting decisions made, and close calls. And Joe Linton taking a ball away from Anthony Gordon in the box at one point just to put the ball 30 feet over the net. So strange. A strange match.
I think this is a team fundamentally broken because I think they thought that Eddie Howe would be gone by now because they thought the FA was going to come for him, and the FA didn't. He probably thought he was going to be gone too.
Right.
So people kept talking about it would have been hard to take him out of that job. Not really. You just got to pay some cash, and you're all good.
Well, Newcastle has some cash. You
never
know what they're going to give him for cash.
Exactly. Probably depending on what they ask. Well, you're right about
Newcastle is going to be in a lot of trouble here right away too.
Yeah. So I think they're fractured. Something's wrong. And also too, the back line that was the focal point of why they made top 4 2 years ago. The following year, literally all of them got injured. Literally all of them. And 2 of them had ACL injuries. I think Sven Botman and the other center back tore his ACL. I don't remember his name. So they're not fully back yet because it takes about a year to get back from an ACL injury, really. And then they sold their fullback, Lino Tovaramento, who's the younger of the fullbacks. And Kieran Trippier is now a year older, and we saw what he was at the Euros. The Euros probably messed him. He was terrible. They're all older. I think their entire back line, I think all of them are over the age of 30.
Yep.
I think they're all over the age of 30. So, yeah.
Could be worse. You could have a back line that's all, what was it, 22 or something like that?
Under the age of 24.
And they were awful. Yeah. I'm going to talk about those guys when I get them.
Your starting lineup, Rob, I think there was only one person over the age of 24, and that was your captain, who's 26.
And it was his first match. How long? He's played 2 matches in the last year or something like that.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, good for Brighton. There you go.
Good for Brighton.
Good for Everton as well. They go to Ipswich. They get a couple of points. Again, a little funny officiating in this one, I'll say. You see Jack Clark awarded a penalty. But VAR disagrees with Michael Oliver. This is in the 25th minute. It looks like Dwight, Clark goes down. Taylor calls McNeil, I can't remember the reference now. But anyways, he calls McNeil for taking him down. And then VAR looks at it and is like, this guy just fell. Like, this guy stepped on the ball and fell. So, all right. So that gets waved off. That's fine. Okay. It comes down to, the 40th minute, McNeil showing some fancy footwork here. And then getting the ball over to Michael Keane. Make it 2-0 and stuff like that. Liam Delap kept fairly quiet at home. Just 2 shots on target. Ipswich not having a win so far this season. But at least there's teams doing worse than them. You know what I mean?
I think there's 4 teams that haven't won a match this year.
Yes.
And I think Southampton.
Yeah. We're going to talk about them next.
Yeah, Wolves. I don't know the other 2. There's 4 teams. I know that. Wolverhampton, Crystal Palace, Southampton, and Ipswich Town. Speaking of Southampton, they are winless because this is the match I was getting mixed up with Ipswich. So Cam Archer wasn't starting for some reason for Southampton.
Last game he gets put in, he scores. He got put in for you know, for Ryan Fraser. Ryan Fraser on the bench. They probably should have kept him on the bench. But so he goes on. Cam Archer scores in the 8th minute, and this is after hitting the post earlier on in like the 5th minute. It's the crossbar, so he could have had two. Joe Aribo makes 2-0 for Southampton. Southampton with a 2-0 lead going into halftime. Okay. 64th minute, Facundo Buenanote scores. Again, he's been having a real good run of late.
Mm-hmm.
The Foxes are only behind one. Yep. And then in the 69th minute, from a corner, Jordan Ayew is allowed to grab onto Paul Onanuchu's shirt for at least 2 seconds. For the entire time the ball is crossed over, Ayew has Onacho's shirt and doesn't let go. Anthony Taylor watches this entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. He says that
let me guess,
even
Rob.
though
let me guess. Yeah. He didn't card it.
Not only did he not card it, he said he would have been inconsequential. Like he was the first guy there. Like he's inconsequential because his shirt's being held, so he couldn't get to the ball. Ridiculous. And the VAR doesn't do anything. The VAR's name is Alex Chilowitz. And I don't know his name, so he hasn't been a major screw up yet.
Yeah, I think there's the same incident with Mark Gay in one of the Chelsea one of the Crystal Palace games where he wasn't close to the ball, but he was grabbed, and people were like, "Oh, he wasn't close to the ball anyway." But people were like, "But if he wasn't grabbed, would he have been closer to the ball if he wasn't grabbed?" Because the ball was coming, and Gahey was running straight. But if he wasn't grabbed, could he have peeled off and attacked the ball? Maybe. We don't know what Mark Gahey would have done. But that's but these refs are reffing what could have happened.
Right.
Not what happened. I was taught growing up, if you get hit in the box and you were semi-close to the ball, that's a foul. Yeah. If Mark Gahey was on the other side of the box and the ball fell at the near post and he was fouled at the far post, then it's not a penalty. That's just common sense. But Mark Gahey was in the middle of the box. He could have went back post, front post, but he was grabbed by Virgil van Dijk, and they were like, "Oh, it wasn't sustained holding, and he wasn't close to the ball." But if he wasn't held, he could have made a play at the ball. So that's what happens. So same thing, Rob. This was worse, where he was near the ball. And
Onuachu was the closest. Yeah, he was the closest thing there. He was within 3 feet. Like if he's not being held onto, he gets that ball.
Yeah. Also, the same weekend that they didn't call the Mark Gahey thing, James Tardowski tackles Sandro Tonali in the box. Just tackles him, but Sandro Tonali is nowhere near the ball. So, but we know you can't do that. That's unnecessary defending in the box. And even though he was nowhere near the ball, that's still a card.
Yeah,
that's a red card. If you can give it to James Tardowski.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so James Tarkovsky. I think it's Tarkovsky.
Mm-hmm.
So even though Sandro Tonali was nowhere near the ball, they still called the penalty. They still called the penalty because it was just unnecessary defending, just pure unnecessary defending. So. These refs are just making shit up every week, Rob.
Yeah.
They're just making shit up every week. And you know what? Oh my God, bro. Like, if I hear Howard Webb speak one more time, I'm going to stick a gun in my mouth.
He's the worst. He's the worst.
He's horrible. He was on the overlap trying to defend some of this BS.
He's terrible. And the problem is the mainstream media in England is in bed with the referees. So they're going to back them. They're going to just back them no matter what. They're giving these fluff shows and stuff like that. Like, Howard Webb's one of the worst things that ever happened.
You want to know the best group of refs I've seen the past 2 years, Rob? You want me to tell you who it was? It was the African Cup of Nations refs. The African Cup of Nations refs.
Yeah.
They reffed They made a mistake. They go to VAR. They see they made a mistake, Rob. You know what they do?
Correct it.
They correct the mistake.
Yeah.
They do their jobs right.
They don't double down. They don't wait for.
They look. Oh, because
they also don't let VAR do their job for them.
Exactly. And with also too with Howard Webber, he kept on the overlap interview. He talked about like, oh yeah, sometimes the ref on the field doesn't have good angles because of the pace of play. So VAR is there to help us. And he's talking about how VAR helps. And then the African Cup of Nation refs, that's what they do. Sometimes they miss something because they're running somewhere or they have to chase the ball and they miss something. And VAR's like, hey, you missed this. And then they fix it. Yeah, shout out, man. Thursdays, guys, 3:00. Remember that. And then they fix it. But it's mind-boggling to me, man. Like, it's generally mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, ridiculous. Anyways, just 3 minutes after that, ball's loose. Southampton net kind of empty, goalkeeper out of position. Jamie Vardy there gets the slightest tug on the back of his shirt, but he's at the ball. Even though the entire net's empty and he still kicks it wide. I guess he may have been saying because his shirt was tugged or something like that, but I think he was just trying to roof this thing and be a show off and missed. Anyways, this goes to VAR and this gets awarded a penalty and a red card against Fraser. This one, yeah. But, it's this. I don't know what the difference would be, except maybe the more egregious call was the one on Onuachu, but, whatever. It's an Anthony Taylor ref game. You're going to get bizarre bullshit. He's terrible. He's terrible at it. And these guys protect him. They protect him, which is nuts. And the worst thing is, I use doing all this stuff to hold the guy. I use the one who actually gets the winner. 8 minutes into stoppage time. Steal a point from Southampton. Leicester was allowed to hang into the game because Southampton had plenty of chances to score other goals as well.
Yeah.
But I'd say it's a bit of a stunning loss. And I don't know, Southampton already looked bad. I don't know how they recover from this. This is the one they needed to have at home. You just couldn't drop that match, and they did. Unfortunate, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, these are the matches you need.
They're gonna yo-yo.
Yeah, these are the games you need to win because you got to beat the other relegation people.
Yep.
You may not beat the top bins people, but you got to beat the bottom bins people.
Leicester's up to 14th now.
Yeah.
Craziness. Yeah. This is craziness. Anyways, we'll move on. United needed to win. And they got it. Eric Ten Hag, again, still under pressure. Everyone's saying, everyone's coming after Ten Hag. He's like a cockroach, man. He's just going to keep surviving.
Yeah, he always does something. Every time the week builds up to his firing.
Yep.
They win.
There's all these meetings, and it's all about Ten Hag, I guess.
Yeah, like rolling up to the FA Cup final.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, he's gonna get fired. He's gonna get fired. He's gonna get fired. He's gonna get fired, guys. He's gonna get fired.
Yeah.
And then he wins it because Man City was probably hungover.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he wins it. And then this week, for 2 weeks during the international break, people are like, he's gonna get fired. He's gonna get fired. This is when you fire coaches. The international break, he's gonna get fired. He's gonna get fired. Then he doesn't get fired. And then people were like, what are they waiting for? Like, what are they waiting for? And then he beats Brentford, and you're like,
yep,
he survives another week.
Yep.
And it's like, do they think they're gonna magically improve or something? People, I think someone said on ESPN FC said, why are we shocked that some of these managers that are in for this job or are kind of middle of the table team managers?
Yeah.
Why can't we admit that finally that Manchester United is a mid-table team now?
Yeah. They aren't being helped out. They've got the Premier League has a new pet. All right. Yeah. And it's from Qatar, and they love City for some reason. City is a nothing squad. City is nothing. Like City
Abu
is
Dhabi,
basically
the Emirates. The Emirates.
Sorry, Emirates. 15 years old. That's about how old Man City is. I'm sure they were around before that, but no one ever took notice except for the Gallagher brothers. Shout out for Oasis.
Yeah.
Wait for next summer.
They won. They won
they
like
and it was their pet. Like in the 90s and the early 2000s. When did Manchester United ever lose at home? When did they ever get a penalty against? When did they ever have anyone even sent off? It was craziness. How much? And to see all their players are talking heads now. It's ridiculous. There was no more pampered
Native
players
Manua.
than United.
Like Native Manua and stuff like they did win the European Cup Winners' Cup in '69, and they do have a Community Shield and a couple FA Cups and a first division English trophy and
no one cares about the Community Shield.
Okay. No, before in 68, 72, and 37, you know what I mean? Like they have
they're nothing. They're nothing.
Before
they've done as good as Pompey. You know what I mean? There's
before 2011, that's when they were bought.
Yeah.
They didn't matter.
Nope.
They were losing to Middlesbrough 8-0.
Yeah.
The mark of a big club, Rob, I generally think this is a very smooth thing. The general mark of a big club is when you suck, do people still talk about you? Do you drive conversation? That's when you are the mark of a big club. Like that's why, me and you hate Manchester United. We hate them to the core. But we cannot disagree that they are a massive club. When they suck, people still talk about them. They're the first story off of all the sports shows in England.
Their misery brings me happiness.
Exactly.
A million times.
When
people say the same thing about Chelsea, they love it. That's why Chelsea's always the first words out of people's mouths every week.
But we saw last year how big you were when you guys sucked, but no one really talked about you.
Everybody talked about us.
I didn't talk about you, because you didn't matter to me.
Oh boy.
Just that's just my own trauma. That's my own trauma. But when 2000 hit, Chelsea skyrocketed because of Roman. Shout out to Roman. Well, no, not shout out to Roman. Sorry, I don't know why I said that.
Guys, close buddies.
Exactly. So so like Chelsea, when they suck and they're good, they're talked about. When Arsenal sucks and they're good, they get talked about. Man United, when they suck or good, they get talked about. Liverpool, when they suck or good, they get talked about. When Manchester City finally falls off the perch,
it's nothing.
No one's gonna give a shit.
No one will even.
No one's gonna care. They bought new fans.
Yeah.
They bought them. They don't matter. Man City never mattered. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What was the original topic we were talking about?
We were talking about United beating Brentford.
Yes, United beating Brentford.
Yeah. Just going to mention that Pinnock scores deep into first half extra time. Garnacho gets his second of the year. Good for him. You know what
Ethan
I mean?
Pinnock, CONCACAF player, Ethan Pinnock.
Rasmus Højlund finally scores this year for United.
Yeah.
The two guys that need to score for United score. They get a win. Marcus Rashford had a real good pass. I think it was on the Garnacho goal. So there you go. Oh, yes. And Bruno Fernandes with a hell of a flick on pass to set up Højlund in the winner. Yeah, two terrific passes in this game by United really make the difference. Yeah. Okay. And now, so United's at 12th, but that middle is really bunching up.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. It'll be interesting.
It's going to be close.
Chelsea's in a tough run of teams coming up and stuff like that, too. Anyway, going on to probably the match you were most excited to watch this weekend, I would imagine. Bournemouth, Arsenal. Nothing to say about this one. Nothing ever happened. I think you can just say that Bournemouth wins easily, and there's no controversy. It won't move on.
Yeah, nothing of note happened. It's not like they changed the rules every time Arsenal plays a match. Yeah, I mean, so they changed the rules apparently.
Well, okay, so 30th minute.
Oh yeah, 30th minute. 30th minute.
30th minute. There's a ball played out to Evan Nilsson. William Saliba is beat on this. He grabs Evan Nilsson by the arm. Yes. Evan Nilsson spins, hits the deck, like he was shot.
Mm-hmm.
Arm whistle goes, arm goes up, yellow card.
Yellow card. I agree.
So the ball is coming up the middle of the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
Arsenal has other defenders on, like it's going up the middle on either side of the midfield circle.
Yep. Ben White was right there. So
Ben
was
White,
Gab. So Gab
yeah.
and Gabriel was on the far side, and Saliba was in the middle. So 3 defenders that
One
could
thing I'll
converge.
say, yeah, I don't know if they catch him, but they might.
Yes.
Like to say Ben White catches him, he might. To say Saliba recovers in time to catch him, I would say that's more likely.
Yes.
But to say from midfield that they took away a clear and obvious scoring chance is bananas. Bananas.
It's bogus. It's not true. It's BS. It's so let's bring back the pin, Rob. The Fulham game with Joakim Anderson.
Yep.
Where literally Ollie Watkins is 5 yards away from the box.
Yep.
Then Joakim Anderson tackles him.
Yep.
And fouls him. That is a clear goal scoring opportunity.
Yeah, he was ahead of him and on goal.
Exactly. Not from midfield. You're literally 2 yards away from the center circle.
Yep.
Midfield. That's not a clear goal scoring opportunity. That's a yellow card. I agreed with the yellow. The yellow was correct.
Yep.
I'm not saying it wasn't a non-card defense. That's just nonsense. It is a card defense. It's a yellow card. This is nonsense. And shout out to Yankee Gunner Elliot, who says, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. And you know what? I ain't either that much. But not to believe certain conspiracies when stuff like this happens, not once a couple of weeks, every week, they changed the rules to Arsenal. Like literally, like the Brighton game where, he does tap the ball away, Declan Rice. I'm not denying he didn't do that. But Joao Pedro kicks the ball from center field to our goalie side after they blew the game dead, and he doesn't get a card. The Brighton dude, after Declan Rice taps the ball away, kicks Declan Rice. Kicks him, loads up and kicks him. He's not kicking the ball. Come on, let's be real. He wasn't kicking. He kicks Declan Rice. That's violent conduct. That's a red card. Mm-hmm. Leandro Trossard does the same thing, and I'm not trying to believe it. I'm not. But if you keep doing this, when there's literally every time someone said, for every red card offense Arsenal has, there's a similar offense in another game that week that doesn't get a red card.
Mm-hmm.
And then you gaslight Arsenal fans. Every time you come on your stupid mainstream shows and you say, "Oh, you get screwed this week, you'll screw somebody else. The refs will screw your opponent next week for you." That doesn't happen for us. What are you talking about? This is bullshit. This is fucking bullshit, man. And like literally, like I generally like. And Premier League fans sit here and say this is the best league in the world. They sit here and say this is the best league in the world. If this was the best league in the world, it wouldn't have been dominated by one team for 7 out of the 8 years. 2, your refs wouldn't be the worst refs on planet Earth. Everyone agrees your refs are the worst. Everyone agrees. You agree, Germany, France, Italy, everyone agrees your refs suck. And you're allegedly the best league in the world. You can't implement semi-automated offsides because something happened this year about it. Something happened means you don't want it to happen because you still want to screw people over. Shout out to Rob. So because you don't want to add semi-automatic offsides because you still want to use your power of the human error to screw someone over on an offsides. Semi-automated offside should have been implemented this year just based off of the Liverpool-Tottenham game last year. Because that was egregious, Rob, what they did to Liverpool. And I hate Liverpool. But what they did to Liverpool
I don't know what they have as much of an agenda against Arsenal. I think they have an agenda for City. Whatever can help City. Liverpool's going to get it. Like, don't worry. Liverpool, something's coming. Yeah, something's coming for Liverpool.
I think you're more correct, Rob. I think you're more correct in that sense. Yeah. Because Michael Oliver should never be reffing games involving City ever.
Conflict of interest. Conflict of interest.
They literally paid for him
way more to go over there. It's incredible. It's how this happens.
And Howard Webb has the audacity to come on these episodes in these shows and talk about,
laughing and chuckling with all his buddies because they are his buddies.
Exactly.
They're all buddies.
By the way, on that overlap episode, Gary Neville literally just every week Gary Neville does something where I'm like, hey, you're not that bad of a guy. Then the following week he does something that just takes it off, just takes it right off. He literally so the game where they ended our 49th game winning streak, Wayne Rooney dives in the box. Everyone sees it clear as day. Even the guy with the lazy eye, even the guy with the eyes that wander saw it clear as day. Gary Neville jokes with Wayne Rooney. Oh, you remember when you dove? And Rooney's like, ha ha ha, I didn't dive. They're laughing about it. Like they're like, oh, you remember when we cheated, Wayne? Hey, Wayne, you remember
Wayne
when we
Rooney
cheated?
Is diving about these days is he's diving to get thirds at the buffet line. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anyways, you guys did hold on. It took a long time for them to score. You guys are, of course, used to playing with a man down for a long time, but
the third game this year.
Yeah, Ryan Christie getting it from the corner, and then the 79th minute, another Evan Nilsson dive. This time he puts the ball trying to go around Raya, then just goes straight into Raya. Like, he doesn't try to go after the ball. He just decides, I'm just going to go into Raya. Raya was just going for the ball. Like, I don't know what he's supposed to do there. Gets a penalty, and Justin Kluivert scores it. That's it.
You know whose fault it is? The diving in the box. You can trace it back to one man. Jurgen Klinsmann. It's his fault.
Sure.
It's Jurgen's fault. It was the Euros in England where he dove in the box, and everyone was like, he dove. He's not going to get the penalty. And the ref gave him the penalty. Then all hell broke loose after that. From that point forward into the new millennium, baby, diving was a thing.
The South Americans had a lot to do with it too. Okay,
that's also a good point as well.
Yep. I think he brought it. I think he brought it over. Yeah. It's like the wave.
And the South Americans always bring up how like we have a tough Common Bowl qualifying. It's like, bro, you be diving left and right. Shut up.
Yep. Come on.
Except Neymar. Neymar actually got assaulted numerous times. I remember watching a documentary about Angel Di Maria, where all the Argentinians were talking about Di Maria, and then they ended up talking about the game against Brazil one year, the year they won the Copa America the first time. They talked about how like, oh yeah, the refs basically allowed us to assault Neymar, and we did it, and it was fun. Dibu Martinez is smiling.
So, yeah. Ryan says, "Don't hate the player, hate the game." Why not both?
Yeah, you know I have a lot of hate in my heart. I can hate both.
Okay, so we're gonna go.
Wait, Justin Kluivert. Why do I know that last name?
I don't know, he's been around for a bit.
Isn't his dad? He's Dutch, right?
I would imagine so with a name like that.
Yo, I think his dad is like a Dutch legend. I think. I'll find out. Continue, Rob.
He's from Holland. Isn't that weird? Okay, so Liverpool gets Chelsea. Yes, Reece James is back. He actually played about an hour or so. He looked okay. You know what I mean? For a guy who never plays anymore. Cucurella and Fofana both gone from too many yellows, so each on their fifth yellow, so had to miss a game. Cucurella was missed. They had to put Gusto over onto the left side as the left back. It didn't work as well as hoped. But Chelsea played okay. I'm gonna say this: Chelsea played okay. I'm not gonna get too upset. They had some things stacked against them. First of all, it's at Anfield. Liverpool gets a lot of calls at Anfield. Now we're gonna talk about what we were saying before about the discrepancies in just consistency. Adebayo, in what was this, the fifth minute or something like that? Fifth minute. I think it's early.
It's real early.
Takes down Diego Jota This is a last man call as well. He gets the yellow card. Now, Levi Colwell in the vicinity. The ball not headed up the straight up the pitch, maybe more towards the touchline. That's the yellow card, and it's upheld. That is because also of the distance away he was from goal. This is why I think you have every right to be upset from where each of these fouls take place.
Yeah.
What each of these calls eventually mean. Also, VAR has to be mic'd up and it has to be broadcast. This is ridiculous. Man. You have to know what these guys are saying. This is baloney.
No, because here's the thing. MLS does it.
Yeah.
You talk about how people talk about how shitty MLS is, but how the hell does MLS can afford to do that? But allegedly the best league in the world can't do that.
And isn't it Howard Webb that set up all the stuff in the MLS as well?
Yeah,
like it's his thing. Like he has it in the MLS. Why wouldn't he have it in?
Exactly. They basically use MLS for like ref tinkering. They basically do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a minor league. It's a minor league, guys. Like Messi scores a whole bunch of goals. It's like
let's not act like there's a couple leagues in Europe that are also minor leagues.
Oh yeah, those are minor leagues too. But it's the MLS.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not a big fan of the MLS anyway.
Real Salt Lake, come on.
Hey man.
What a ridiculous! How ridiculous! The Columbus Crew. All right, so
hey, watch yourself. I don't defend MLS, but I will defend Columbus Crew.
Oh my gosh. Jadon Sancho gets stepped on by Trent Alexander-Arnold. His arm around him inside the box, and that's not a penalty. But, Salah barely has a hand placed on his back, and he jumps forward, doesn't get a penalty. But Rob Jones gets kicked in the shins, does a 360 spin. That's a penalty. But actually, I didn't think that was a great play by Colwell. I believe that was a penalty, but also 100% Jadon Sancho should have been a penalty call. So to say that Chelsea deserved to win, even if they had that first call and see, well, maybe the match changes a little bit. They would have had a 1-0 lead. They wouldn't be chasing the game. Nicholas Jackson scores in the second half to tie it after Salah scored the penalty or whatever that Rob Jones got. But then, like 3 minutes later, that Chelsea back line's shit, and Sanchez makes a terrible play on Curtis Jones. Curtis Jones scores, but it was a great pass by Salah to score the winner and stuff like that. But Liverpool takes advantage. Not a great Chelsea squad, but they played well for who they had. It's nice to see Reece James play. I'm not gonna shit all over them. It's just Sanchez has to be better, and instead of maybe paying all these kids up front and stuff like that, and having kids in the back, maybe get some grown-ups at the back. You know what I mean? Have as many kids as you want up front, doing what they do.
Yeah.
But have responsible adults at the back. I don't know if they're gonna do that. Like Colwell, I like and stuff like that. Just not ready. Fofana's terrible back there right now. Adebayo maybe just doesn't play enough. He's looked in some games good and some games trash. He wasn't very good in this game. So, anyways, Chelsea lost. All right, I'm fine with it.
The exuberance of youth, Rob. It's pretty much
they lost to Liverpool. Like, and anyone could talk about Slot as much as they want. Look at what he's doing and stuff like that. What's he done?
Nothing. He's done nothing. I don't understand the love affair they have with this man. He has
done zilch. Not one of those players are his.
Yeah, exactly. And they still play the same way.
Yep.
They still play the same way. Like their big test is Arsenal this week.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Arsenal tough without William Saliba, which is a problem. But also too, then Ricardo Calafiori got injured today in Champions League. So we're gonna be without him. So it's gonna be a problem. We're gonna probably have to start Jakob Kivior.
Well, Chelsea had two guys from their back taken away from them for this past match or whatever. Look how well it turned out for Chelsea. Yeah. But you guys might have a better backline than us, that's for sure.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's at the Emirates or if it's at Anfield. I don't know.
It is at the Emirates.
Yeah, so last year at the Emirates, we took them apart.
Mm-hmm.
We disemboweled them basically. They had beat us. You know, we should have beat them at Anfield too, but gamesmanship, they overwatered the pitch. So there's that. But shout out to Nico Jackson, Rob. Last year, the year before, we're talking about how like the man can't hit the bright side of a barn. He's missing everything left and right.
He still misses, but he
scores too.
He's getting some to drop in. So that's good.
But that's most strikers, man.
But he's compared to last year, he's much better.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's say that. He's much better.
Yeah, shout out to Nico Jackson.
He is capable of having too many temper tantrums. Look like he always seems to want to fight, and that's not a good.
Yeah,
it's not a good thing to have as a player and stuff like that.
With
your teammates, you want to fight, like, buddy.
Yeah.
Deep breath. Take a deep.
You guys have a lot. You guys have a lot of speed in that front line.
Yep.
And I think your biggest issue, Rob, is really just youth.
Yep.
Is youth and discipline, and you got to find a solid back four. Chelsea back in the day, man, they prided themselves on the back four. Terry, Cole, God, Ashley Cole, I hate
offense for the back.
Yeah, exactly.
Offense for the back.
The 14 goals conceded in one Premier League season, something that's will never be duplicated. It's just impossible, really.
Nope.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I think it's a record that's probably never gonna get broken.
Nope.
But yeah, man, like you can't go full youth.
No.
PSG,
they at least they had Silva.
Yeah.
Stuff back there last year, the year before.
Yeah.
They don't have that now, and it's a glaring hole.
Your oldest starter was 26, and your leader is 21.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, it's John Terry and walking through that door yelling at you. You know what I mean?
He could.
He could. it would throw everybody off. Like, why are you here, John?
Yeah.
It's really weird. But it's like John Terry looked 35 at 24. You know what I mean? Like the man was old. You know what I mean? It's that's just the way it is. So, you just kind of got to ride the ride, Rob.
Yep.
It's you kind of have a YOLO group.
I am not complaining that they're in sixth spot. I thought it was fun that they were up to fourth. I didn't think that was possible coming into this year. I was like, I would have been happy with that, 7-6-5 kind of area and stuff like that to see that well they were doing early on.
Yeah,
it's like it was a little
you're fighting for Europa or Champions League, really.
I want to see them get in the Champions League. I think they have. I was like, and going in with a new coach, and it's and this guy's never coached in the Premier League before, except for he was an assistant, of course, under Pep.
Yes.
So yeah. There's lots of season left. They can go either way. Still, it's just it was a nice start. It was a nice start to the season, unlike the last couple years, which has been so terrible. Anyway,
and you still haven't faced Aston Villa yet.
Yeah, that's true.
You beat Aston Villa, you put yourself in the driver's seat of Europe.
I hate them so much.
Yeah. What who the hell do they think they are?
Ridiculous.
You know what I mean? You're Aston Villa, man.
Yeah, ridiculous.
All
Birmingham.
right, sorry.
All right. Okay. So a couple more matches, and the other one, the one that's on the thumb here, Wolverhampton and Man City, and I'll just say poor Wolverhampton.
God, man. Why does City struggle with them?
Yeah, Wolves have nothing to lose, right? Whenever they play these guys, they have zero to lose. They're never supposed to win, so why not give everything? And the Premier League doesn't want them to win. Obviously, City doesn't want them to win. The PGML probably doesn't want them to win. They were in the Premier League get what they wanted again, and. I'm never even talking about Stones as winner. Like, there's so much other stuff that happened.
Yeah.
First one, they actually get the lead, and Jorgen Strand Larsen is the only Norwegian to score in this game, which is fun.
Shout out to him.
Yeah, shout out to the third choice guy in Norway. Definitely, it was definitely against the run of play, guys, and it was a fantastic pass from Nelson Semedo. They got it. He even has another. Semedo has a chance. He's coming in alone. Like a lot of this stuff is coming on the counter attack for Wolves, of course, because City's just going to have the ball.
Absolutely.
Semedo has a real good chance and just has a final touch that's too heavy, and Ederson can get to it. Otherwise, probably should have kicked earlier. Probably had some space for it, but
should be 2-0 Wolves. You're absolutely
should have been right. So Gavardio ties the matchup. Real nice shot.
Yo, what a strike, man.
Jose Za was fantastic in this game. So many shots he's getting to that just outstretched, and I think his teammates already think you're in, but he's making it to him. He hadn't played in a while, so good for Sa. I think he gets his hands to 4 or 5 different balls and stuff like that. Good,
phenomenal game.
The problem is with this match, we'll talk about the goal, the winner for Sydney Sack, was the difference in calls. Like anytime City was near the box and a hand would be placed on them, if they went down, they were getting a free kick. Now with the score tied at 1, and like whatever it was, 4 minutes into extra time.
Yeah, 4 minutes into the 5th minute.
Right. A Wolves player has the ball. He's in front of goal. He gets pushed down from behind. There's no call. He gets pushed down. Kovacic had a hand lightly brush against him. He goes down. There was a free kick. Just the discrepancy in calls is what I'm talking about. How there is a consistency. The consistency is they're going to do what they can to get City ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And with the last one, it was Foden's free kick there at the death. Corner. And Silva is going up against Sa. Sa pushes him as the ball is coming off of Stone's head and into the net. And they don't call that offside. Or they didn't call it Silva for being in an offside position. Yes, I know you can't be offside on a corner. You sure as hell can when you're ahead of the players or whatever after it comes off.
Can't you be offsides on a corner?
Impossible. Unless you're inside the net. Unless you're inside the net. Unless he's interfering with play, which by Saw having to push him out of the way as the ball is coming off Stones' head, you could easily say he's interfering with play.
I hate
everyone
that man.
Everyone hates everybody in the city except for bandwagon jumpers. Bandwagon jumpers and Gallagher brothers, and that's it.
God. I don't even like the Gallagher brothers.
I do.
I don't understand the hype around them either.
How dare you? So anyway.
Have your Oasis album up your ass.
Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah. Gee whiz. Okay, so anyways, it's all rubbish. It's all garbage. The league didn't want to see the same mistake as last year with Wolverhampton getting one over them. So they award City their 3 points. If
only they had the Korean guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Pep Guardiola for being a piece of shit.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Yeah.
So good on you, City. That's who you are. You need all the help you can get. Now,
against Wolverhampton.
Yeah. Last match happened Monday. Forest beats Palace. Forest wins at home. Well, there used to be the thing we say here. There's 2 things. Forest will win at home. They'll score on the counterattack. Chris Woods gets his 5th goal of the year as well already. How about that?
Shout out to Chris Woods.
Good for him.
I didn't know the man was a Kiwi. You know when I found out he was a Kiwi?
Yeah.
When America was against New Zealand during the international break, and they're like, "There's their striker Chris Woods," and I'm like, "What, in Forest?" And I was like, "Yes, from Nottingham Forest." We tied against New Zealand, by the way. We shouldn't have, which was a disgrace. But shout out to Chris Woods.
How's life under Poch?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all you have to say. Ollie Glasner. Does Ollie Glasner, everyone was saying before it's going to be Steve Cooper, but he's done a couple of things now. I think Leicester's in a good spot. Does Ollie Glasner last until Christmas? Because they just can't score. No one there can score. Their only problem is they can't score.
Well, the problem is they sold Michael Olise.
Yeah, ridiculous. That's
That's the problem about this team is when it was him and Eze, it worked. And then the problem also is, strikers, they're streaky. Juan Mateta isn't having a good year like he did last year.
Yeah.
So he's back down to earth. So, you sold probably the second best or the best player on your team to Bayern Munich. You can argue about if you prefer Eze.
He was their best player. I'll say for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so you sold your best player, and then your striker isn't playing as good as he is, and no offense to Eddie and Kedia, good squad player. I'm a big fan of him.
Yeah,
I don't think we gave him the necessary opportunities for him to flourish. I never thought he never thought he was a bench striker where he can come off the bench and score right away. He's not John Duran, out of Aston Villa. John Duran is something special about that guy. He's a starter striker where he needs to build himself within the game.
He is not going to stay on that squad through the January window. There's no chance.
Eddie and Kedia?
No. Duran.
Eze? Duran. Oh, Duran. Yeah, Duran is gone. But I think they're gonna sell him in the summer. I think they're gonna sell him in the summer.
We'll see.
John Duran. Personally, if I was Arsenal, I would be like, hey, John Duran, you like wearing red? You would look beautiful in red, by the way.
You still gonna take Havertz minutes?
Sure, why not? I don't give a shit.
I think Havertz is fine.
I don't. Well, we need more than just Kai Havertz. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because. Yeah, we just need more than Kai Havertz.
Would he be happy with Jesus's minutes? Maybe. And then you guys got to get rid of Jesus because then we tried
to get rid of Jesus.
Yeah,
there was a chance that we were going to get rid of Jesus.
He's broken.
We also thought of buying. Speaking of Crystal Palace, Eze, Arabici Eze. He was one of the targets, but I think Crystal Palace either didn't want to sell him or they wanted too much money. So that's why we kind of settled on.
I don't know how they could sell him. There's no way they're going to they get rid of him. They go down. I don't see how they get back up. You know what I mean?
Oh, so they basically had to choose who do we get rid of, either him or Michael, and they chose Michael.
They chose poorly. And they chose poorly after giving him that huge contract to keep him away from Chelsea.
I think Rob, honestly, I think they kind of were like, let's pick the Englishman. So we kept the Englishman and we sold the French guy.
Yeah,
because our English fan base is gonna be like, as a Englishman, boom, and then Michael is whatever, because that also feeds into certain stuff as well, marketing and stuff like that.
Sure.
Eze did finally get called up to the English national team, so he is technically now an English international.
Mm-hmm.
So they can market it as English international, Arabici Eze, but we'll see.
Can't score.
Yeah, can't score nothing.
One of the nicest goals of the year is taken away from him, which sucks.
When your best player is your center back, Mark Gahey, that's just a problem.
Yeah. Okay, that's it for the week. And looking back, you had 7 correct in our sleeper app. This is bananas. You have a sizable lead right now over everybody. I think you have a 5-game lead over Adelia right now. I'm sitting way back there with Trevor at 40.
I think I have 47. I think she has 44.
44, yep. And then Trevor and I way back at 40. But maybe this is the week I turn around first.
Sure, Rob.
How dare you, sir? All right. Go through some matches here. Because it started on a Friday this week, for goodness sakes.
Yeah.
Leicester and Forest at King Power Stadium.
I chose Nottingham Forest.
We're going for Forest?
Yeah.
I'm going to go for Leicester. At home. Villa.
Yeah, I'm 7 on you. I'm 3 on Adelia.
Yeah. Villa and Bournemouth.
I won Villa.
I'm going to go with a draw on this one. Go for the chaos draw.
Okay.
Brentford, Ipswich.
I chose Brentford.
Yeah, Brentford's going to win. Brighton against Wolves.
I went Brighton.
Yeah, Brighton's going to win at the Amex.
City.
Yes, it's City Southampton next. I was just to even say. Like,
Yeah.
whoa, just if Southampton could have gotten that extra 2 goals, they could have got. Yeah, City's going to win. They're going to make sure of it. Everton and Fulham.
I went Fulham.
Fulham at Goodison Park. Everton's on a run now of 2 wins, 2 draws in their last 4. I'm going to say a draw. Chelsea at the bridge against Jekyll and Hyde.
See, that's the biggest problem here, right? Is I chose Newcastle as we're speaking, but I may choose Chelsea. I may switch it to Chelsea because, like you said, Jekyll and Hyde. I don't know which Newcastle's going to come in, but if they were at St. James's Park, it would definitely be a minimum of a draw. I would go with, but they're at the bridge, so I think I'm gonna go Chelsea at the bridge.
Yep. Well, I'm taking Chelsea because I'd rather take them and be wrong than never have to say no and then have them watch them win. Palace and Spurs.
I went Spurs because Palace, man, they're just bad.
They're not going to score. You know what I mean? And definitely not scoring enough. Spurs is going to win as well. I say West Ham and Man U.
I went Man U because just West Ham is just awful.
Sure be funny if West Ham won.
Yeah, that would be hilarious.
It would be funny. Talk about chaos. But I'm going to take Man U as well. And then finally, the big marquee matchup of the weekend. Is this a loss for Arsenal here? And maybe those nerds are right saying that, I think Arsenal's already out of the title race. And I think, which is obviously ridiculous with so much of the season to go. But this would put them way back.
Yeah,
a lot of upward climbing.
I'm going victory on Arsenal. They need to win at home against Liverpool. I think people talked about the wrong game last year on how Arsenal lost the league. They talked about the wrong game. They talked about the draw at City. That's not the game that people should be really talking about. Is the two losses at home to Fulham and Aston Villa.
Yeah,
those are the reasons. Like, even in non, non-championship years, you should always get a draw at home. Minimum.
Got to protect the house.
You got to protect the house. That's always been my rule. No matter, like, if you lose on the road, you lose on the road. That's fine. But you never ever lose at home. Minimum, you always get a draw. And they lost to Aston Villa 2-0 last year. And then they also lost to Fulham last year. So those were always the problems last year, not the draw at Man City. The draw at Man City, that's actually a great result. Man City was in their dominant era and they were just killing people. So a draw at the Etihad makes sense. And this year we should have won the game at the Etihad this year, but Michael Oliver was like, you know what? Let me cheat real quick. So yeah.
Well, huge match next week. Can't wait to talk about it. Fares, thanks for coming on the show, buddy. I want to tell everyone where they're going to find you here on the Let's Get Ready Network and affiliate network stations.
On the Let's Get Ready Highlights Network, every Friday, 3 o'clock Pacific, me and Caleb talk American football, NFC East, Giants, Cowboys, and a smattering of NFC news, some Eagles, some Commanders. And then every Thursday on our entertainment channel, me and Rob, we do Rewatchers Council. Rob, point at the shirt, Rob.
Oh,
Rewatchers Council.
Product placement.
We our Buffy the Vampire Slayer episode. We may be doing something a little special in the next for the seasons, because a certain show was going on at the same time as a certain show, so we may be doing a certain show
soon.
It's still up in the air. And then on the you can catch me on the post credits depending on the show. I'm usually on the Penguin ones, and then I'm also on the we have a new one called the post credits on the franchise, our review shows. So there's that. It was pretty funny. The franchise was pretty funny.
Okay. Rob, I'm looking forward to seeing that. Forward to seeing that. Agatha all along. Danny and I will be talking about that on LGRN. after Snark this weekend. Talk about what we think is going to happen in the finale, and I guess the second to last episode this week, Fares. What else have we got going on? Just starting 11 Tuesdays live, 7 Central. The only real time zone that counts. You know what I mean? Playoff Beards will be back at some point too. Playoff Beards will be back soon as well, talking NHL with our buddy Ryan. Okay, that's it. Thanks everyone for watching. And until next time, and en français, bye-bye.
Oui, oui.